All right, so today not a whole lot happened. Um, there was a particular scenario that we were trying to deal with, something that was kind of thrust on us pretty quickly. Um, it, it's really not all um, that clear to myself even right now. We were recommended to look into an event that was supposed to happen on the 6th, which is today. And this is just, you know, uh, we worked on it for a couple days and did our best to try and use any kind of magical imprints and working with different gods and goddesses to try and figure things out as we went. Mystic beings, well, they're not as open now as they normally would be. For those of you who are able to have that gift to communicate with like fairies and beings like that, you may have noticed it's been harder for you, if not impossible for you, to get your messages across. This has to do with an event that took place, I think, nearly a year ago, actually. So it's been a long year of downturn for anybody who's engaging with the mystical world, fairies, pixies, all of the different nationalities and things of that nature of mystic beings. Um, so in this scenario, what ended up happening was we were trying to find out um, how the forecasting god could leverage his abilities and his forecasting to cause problems on three dates coming up at the time that we were given information. And the three dates were the 6th, the 14th, and the 21st. And this has to do with the fact that, which you'll probably hear me talk a little more about in of past events, but in the past, we had dealt with a forecasting god incarnation that had caused quite a bit of problems for humans on the planet Earth, and really caused restrictions for nearly 2,500 years, which made things difficult on humans, all of us, right? Well, those restrictions really were involving trying to keep mystic beings and humans separate, trying to keep humans away from the acceptance of the gods, etc. Well, during this time, we had to set back. Um, we had to set up a special spell system using actually the pyramid in Egypt, one of the pyramids in Egypt, to make it so mystic beings are sort of locked away. Well, not really locked away, but restricted more from communicating with humans. Well, what ended up happening is we received forecastings that the forecaster god was going to try and recoup some of his losses here. And because he had lost these, um, with this great asset, a forecaster god incarnation by the name of Pluto. You probably recognize him from the Greek pantheon. Um, at this point, it seemed to us that the forecasting god was attempting to use the upcoming winter solstice as a power base for him to acquire powers to mount a counterattack to recoup some of the losses he has. So that's what we're looking at in the next in this next month and leading up to the winter solstice. We are trying to inhibit that and stop any major attack from occurring, but we're coming into this a little bit late. We only had 3 days to figure out what he was going to do on the 6th, and it was, let's just put it, it was a tragedy. Lives were lost, which he is obviously, in turn, working to utilize those lost lives in a sort of dark magic ritual, which gives him powers to use things, which we are assuming he's either going to use now on the predicted event of the 14th or the 21st itself. So basically, we're in the middle of a little bit of a crisis here, and we're dealing with quite a lot on this scenario. This is alongside us just doing our everyday stuff, like looking for a Christmas tree elf. So that's really what happened today. It's the 6th. We didn't know what was going to happen, and we sort of, it just went the way it was. There really was no way for us to control it. The god that deals with the hidden temple, whom we're working with right now on this topic, His name is Tutana. He's a prehistory god, so he's not really in any um, annals of historical texts. So he's quite old in his existence. And he tasked us with the sixth, knowing there wasn't much we could do about it. In reality, we tried everything we had at our disposal. Worked tort cards. We used several. My wife does Chinese magic. She used several different forms of Chinese magic, hydromancy. I mean, almost anything you can think of. Dream magic. Pretty much everything was done at this point to try and at least give us an edge as to what would happen on the 6th. Well, the 6th is done, and there's no way around that now. What we have to do is focus on the 14th coming up and the 21st and try and see if now we have more time. I mean, it's only the 6th now, so we have until the 14th. That gives us more time to try and mount a counter strike for the 14th. Again, though, Tutana has already told me that the 14th he has ruled out, as he himself could not figure out what he thinks was going to happen on the 14th. So he's focusing on the 21st, which is the winter solstice, and is obviously going to be a big day for the forecasting god to make a counter strike to what had happened about a year ago. So he's had a year to plan, and we haven't. So it's going to be tricky, and we're going to probably have a lot of setbacks up front. I kind of expect that. So that's the quick update here. I do plan on bringing everybody out again to go with us to see the acquisition of the tree elf. We'll be bringing the tree back probably sometime in this coming week. I have to arrange it. I have learned some methods to acquire the tree elf, a special paper sort of talisman with a specific writing on it that, if you carry around with you, signifies to a local tree elf that you are a willing participant. It's an older form, so we would have to have someone who's more knowledge of, has a mystic being that has more knowledge of, of the older method of doing things. So we'll see how that goes. But even before I do all that, I actually have to start taking down the restrictions. So for all of you that have had issues the last year connecting with your beings, expect things to get better, okay? That's just a fact. You're going to be able to communicate again and be able to reassociate. So I will be lowering the pyramid tolerance level probably tonight, if not tomorrow morning. So expect things to go back to normal that way. I'm expecting to be able to talk to Lily again. She's our mystic being living here with us now. Has been restricted, even though she lives in our general vicinity here. She still couldn't communicate with us, so I'm expecting that. So it's a lot of big things coming, a lot of big changes. So I hope that this is just a quick update. I know I'm rambling a little bit and running through it very quickly, but everything's happening quickly. So expect to see some more things. I probably will let you see how I do the spell to lower the tolerance of the pyramid. I use a scarab as a specialty scarab that's used for this. Now I'll probably do a little video on that so you can kind of see how it goes. At any rate, that's it. So I hope this enlightens everybody a little bit.